Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check.
Here we are.
Oh, it's Bennett Doyle.
It is I. I had to be here for a big day in our country.
I'm so glad that you're aware that this is such a big day.
Is there something going on today?
I don't know. Felt something in the air.
I was talking about the Memphis Tigers starting 1-0.
College football,
Yeah.
playoff rankings, NFL draft. Not NFL draft, NFL trade deadline.
Yeah.
I already had movement this morning.
Did we?
Sure did.
Who?
The Browns defensive end going to the Lions.
Okay.
The move they made to help with the loss of Aiden Hutchinson.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Lions. I see you.
Okay, Lions. You for real?
Getting Super Bowl ready. I like it.
It's fine. The Chiefs are going to win anyway. That's all they do.
That's probably true. That's
all they
probably
do.
true, actually.
Really thought they were going to lose last night. Silly me. Jokes on me.
No. You don't give Patrick Mahomes the ball in overtime.
You don't have Patrick Mahomes have to get helped carried off the field and then comes back in.
Come on, man. That was outrageous.
The scripts.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, my university just jumped in on the news.
What's going on?
They're benching their starting quarterback.
What?
Miller Moss time. Done.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Well, I've been tortured for weeks.
Okay,
I threw away
knew
USC
that,
football.
yeah.
I'm all about USC women's basketball now.
Good.
USC women's basketball back in action.
Juju
Watkins, big win over Ole Miss in Paris yesterday.
in Paris.
In Paris.
I didn't know we were doing college
Because
hoops
women's college
overseas.
basketball right now is way cooler than men's college basketball.
That might be true, actually.
Did you go to the Tigers game last night?
I did not go last night. No, we had too much going on. I mean, we had Grizz, we had Monday Night Football. I had to get like the quad screen set up last night. Yeah.
Quad or
Yeah.
three?
Quad.
What
Well,
was
if
the
I count my phone, it's quad screen.
What was the fourth screen on?
Whatever they were watching.
Oh,
yeah.
the children.
Oh, Home Alone.
Oh,
Home Alone. Yeah,
Alone.
we're already watching Christmas
Home
movies.
Alone. That's a
Yeah.
good one. It is Tuesday, November 5th, but a simple day. Gonna be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt is off working the polls today. Bennett Doyle in his place behind the glass. We will wish a happy election day to all who celebrate. We will spend election day talking about the Memphis Grizzlies loss to the Brooklyn Nets last night, but we had Ja 360, Zach Edey's best game thus far in a Grizzlies uniform. Mike Wallace will join us to continue the Grizzlies conversation. Then former Memphis Tiger Will Coleman is going to join us in studio. We will talk about the Tigers' opening night win over Missouri. Nice to see both the Memphis men and women getting dubs to start the season. We'll end with a little TV Tuesday. I'm going to make Bennett rank the top events of the next 10 days in America. We'll talk some NFL too. Chiefs did it again last night. We'll get into all that and more. You know what we say. Go vote. Go vote.
That's right.
Yeah.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
How much have you added weight since your rookie year?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Your rookie, you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You 265 right now?
in between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, to have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Election Day. A very important day, Bennett Doyle. Today, it's not just a day, just an ordinary day in the US of A. This is a day of great importance.
That will live in infamy.
It is a reminder of how lucky we are to be alive right now. It is a day where we get to carry out our greatest civic duty. It is a day where we get to sit down at 6 o'clock Central Time tonight and watch the first college football playoff rankings reveal on ESPN of the expanded playoff era. What a day. How about college football just saying, no. This is our day. We are America.
I mean, I can't argue with it. I feel like that they do own the consensus minds of America. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Should the college football playoff committee be in NATO? A conversation to be had. Maybe we should have asked the candidates the important question.
Interesting.
Yeah, just put the committee. Just make them their own country.
You know, I do think that as big as sports are in our country, I don't think there was enough questions to the candidates about sports this go around. Do you? Like, we got no sports anything.
No, and I will say
what's your
there's
favorite
actually.
team?
Okay,
Have you seen anything this year? Gone to any games?
Oh, you were going like the simplicity piece of it. I was going to say there are actual big implications both with the current House settlement and the future of what paying college athletes is going to look like and perhaps revenue sharing or the idea of the Board of Education and what that could look like in the future. Anyway, a lot of important things that attribute or contribute to the college sports world. We get 2 MAC games tonight. So if you want to tune out of election coverage and the college football playoff rankings just aren't enough for you or you're mad because it feels like the SEC rigged it again, may I interest you in 2 games, one between Bowling Green and Central Michigan, and one between Miami of Ohio and Ball State.
I feel like Bowling Green and Central Michigan have owned Tuesdays and Wednesdays for like the past 3-4 years.
Baby.
Yeah, they own that slot, so that's fine.
I'll
put it on. It'll be on the screen.
I want to spend my election day watching Ball State. That's my choice that I'm going to make. And the college football playoff, the championship game, is on Inauguration Day. So they're really just taking over all facets of this American life. No NBA today, so you can't distract yourself with that. All of the teams are off because all of the teams played yesterday. And there was nothing that I wanted more than to start this election day with Memphis Grizzlies highlights, particularly the highlights that we had from last night's game for the Grizzlies. But the rules are the rules, and we only do highlights after Grizzlies wins. Womp. Womp. And Dorian Finney-Smith ruined everything. And Dennis Schroeder, again, ruined everything for the Grizzlies. I did want to start, and we'll get into all of the happenings of last night's Grizzlies games, but where my head went after last night's 106-104 loss to the Nets, and I don't often purposely revisit the 2023-2024 Memphis Grizzlies season. That is a season that I choose to just let evaporate into the back of my mind. But I was in a nostalgic mood this weekend because it was the 1-year anniversary of one of my very best friend's weddings this time last year. And I was at her wedding. It was a great wedding. They had Chick-fil-A on the dance floor, which is a guaranteed win of a wedding. But after the wedding, the after party, I made the conscious decision to watch a Grizzlies game at the after party of this wedding. And it was the Grizzlies game against the Portland Trailblazers. It was game 1 of the inaugural in-season tournament group play games.
Oh, it's coming up.
It is coming up. It might be on the list of things that I ask you to rank in importance in the next 10 days.
I like it.
But last year when the Grizzlies were playing the Trailblazers, it was a West Coast game, so here I am in a wedding in New York City watching a West Coast game at like midnight, and I had a little tiny screen up, and I'm watching the Grizzlies let go of a 10-point lead in the last 3 minutes to the Trailblazers, and they went to overtime, and they lost, and it was their 6th straight loss, and the Grizzlies had started 0-6 on the season, and I just remember feeling like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like this team is in trouble. And at that point, Ja still had to sit out a suspension, and we didn't even know the lengths of injury hell that the Grizzlies would go through. But the feeling was just so bad. And it was attributed, one, because you just lost to the Trailblazers and they weren't supposed to be any good and you hadn't won a game. And looking ahead, the Grizzlies wouldn't win their first home game until late November last year. But what struck me last night watching the Grizzlies lose to the Nets is how different it feels. Like this is not a similar feeling to last year, and that is a good thing. Like we will not go back to last year. We will look forward, because even in a loss that sure is disappointing and every game matters, and when you think about Western Conference standings and how tight races can be, like yeah, you might look back on losing 2 games to the Nets, who beat you both times they were playing on the second night of a back-to-back, and think, damn, those were 2 that we really should have gotten. However, when you see the highlights of Ja Morant last night, along with the best game that we have seen from Zach Edey, along with the fact that this team is still very far from being at full strength, it's easy to quickly turn the page and say, all right, you put that in a box, let's look and focus on those positives from last night.
Yeah, like, obviously, they all count the same in the standings at the end of the year, but I do feel like all losses are not created equal. Like the difference we felt after that Nets game the other night compared to last night is night and day. Because first, the Nets might actually not be that terrible of a basketball team. I mean, they're 4-4. Like they're obviously having
2 of their wins are against the Grizzlies.
That's right. They're obviously having an okay start to the season. Right. So whatever. Dennis Schroeder's like the most annoying player in the NBA by far. But last night just felt more competitive. I thought that there were, like you said, like there were great moments from players that you're super invested in this season. So, you know, it sucks to lose twice to the Nets, but I'm not coming in here today this early in the season. So, like after that first Nets game, it was like, God, what if we're not that good? You know, and it could still be the case. You know, we don't know. It's super early, but I felt horrible after that first Nets loss. Last night, I was just like, man, they were on the road. Like, it was a pretty close game. They had a chance to win it at the end. And, let's just regroup. And I'm glad Zach Edey looks awesome.
It was the Nets' loss the first time around, coupled with the loss to the Bulls.
Right.
And coupled with the 21-0 run that the Magic had and almost could have come back and won that game, even though the Grizzlies did win the home opener. But after seeing their response against both the Bucks and the Sixers, who, yes, are having all kinds of struggles of their own to start this season, and we all saw the Giannis Antetokounmpo odds have officially come out on where Giannis is going to land, and
plus 600.
Plus 600.
Let's go.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Hey, I like those odds. Give me those odds.
You're saying there's a chance. But no, it was the kind of thing where, and Ja was awesome, and we are going to watch those two, not one, but two 360 finishes over and over and over and over again. But I do want to put the emphasis on Zach Edey because, like you said, it is something that is of utmost importance. Like, we know who Ja Morant is. The rest of the country might have forgotten who Ja is.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in Memphis ever forgot. Everyone was hopeful and extremely anxious and excited to see that version of Ja Morant back playing basketball with Memphis Grizzlies across his chest. For Zach Edey, there's still an unknown factor because he's a rookie. And I think the incremental improvements that he has been making night after night, which if you are watching every single game, you're able to see. But in a flurry last night, it allowed other people to say, oh, like, I see the concept for Zach Edey. And this block by Edey on one end, followed with a trailing walk-up three. It was the only three he took last night. And I have to admit, when he popped up for that shot, I said, oh, no. Oh. And then I was like, oh, he's got it. He's got it. That's not what I needed from Zach Edey. I loved the poster from Zach Edey. Looking so much more comfortable as a finisher. The touch is there. He had 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks while shooting 11 of 12 from the field. That's a massive game for Zach Edey. And shout out to Sean Coleman, who always brings the best stats to make what you saw with your eyeballs somehow feel even better. And he pointed out that there are only 2 rookies in NBA history who have produced 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, and 4 blocks in a game while shooting 90% or better from the field. And it is Hakeem Olajuwon and Zach Edey. That's pretty good company to be in if you're Zach Edey. And that's just what you want. That's what you want. And like, the Nets made 13 threes and the Grizzlies made 8. And the role players had a bit of a tough night. And maybe Zach Edey heard me give Jalen Wells the way too early in November Rookie of the Year nod and said, not so fast. There's another Grizzlies rookie on this team who has a potential to come up and make his presence undeniably known. But it was fun to see the timeline be like, oh, that version of Zach Edey can exist for the Grizzlies. And he's huge for them. Like, just being able to finish at the basket over and over again and get those rebounds, and also what he does on the defensive end, just his mere presence. You saw it. It's a loss, so it feels a little wasted. But I'm not calling it wasted because every rep for a rookie is a rep gained.
Yeah. Speaking of rookies, like Jalen Wells had an off shooting night, but I think I think overall I'm super happy that they were able to find that guy that they can plug in and keep us afloat until we start getting some reinforcements back. Listen, it's early, but it appears they did well in this draft class.
And the people have noticed.
Yeah.
They're like, how do the Grizzlies keep finding these guys?
I know.
How do they keep getting a second-round pick like Jalen Wells? And that really was part of the problem last night, is the role players all kind of reverted back to not being excellent. And when you're down that many bodies, that's going to catch up with you. And especially, I thought down the stretch, we talked after that the more infamous Nets loss, where none of the starters, but Ja and Jaren were not playing 30-plus minutes, and it was like, why are they not in the fourth quarter? What stood out is how all minutes are not created equal, and so even while some of your role players can thrive in earlier quarters, when you get down to crunch time is where deficiencies can stand out a bit more, and I thought we returned to that a bit last night with Santi Aldama, Scottie Pippen Jr., Jalen Wells, all who have been really, really good, but just slipped a little down the stretch. And the end play by Ja, like, he lost control of the ball.
Yeah.
And Ja had great highlights. Ja didn't even have his best game last night.
Yeah, he was mad at the official there on that final play.
He did get fouled.
Yeah, he thought he got fouled. I just think that it's fine, like, it's the end of a game. The only thing is we consider Ja a superstar player. I believe most people consider Ja a superstar player. And I think in a lot of situations, superstars get that call. Like, it appeared he got fouled.
I yelled from my couch,
yeah.
Treat him like a star.
Yeah.
Like, it's about time to treat Ja Morant like a star. And they are, Like maybe the officials still aren't and they'll catch up. But it has stood out to me how the NBA is treating Ja like a star. They're posting every single thing that he does.
They are.
That's awesome. Like, and multiple angles and the slow-mo of it. And the angle from the stand, I had joked I wanted to see every angle, and then I proceeded to get like every angle of his 360s last night. Which 360 impressed you more from Ja, the first or the second?
I think the first one.
You're going with the first. Is it because of the hand switch?
Yeah. It's
I'm
almost
going
like
with
his
the
hand's
second.
going backwards on the first one before he lays it in. Yeah, I like the first one, I think.
Okay, you can have the first one. I'm taking the second one because he looked like he was going to dunk. Like, I was like, oh, here we go.
That would have been
Here comes the
insane.
Ja poster. And then the change in spin. Like, what this man does with his body is unbelievable to watch.
Sorry
What did
if
Noah say?
I don't know.
It's okay. It's bring your kid to work
It's
day.
bring-
the
yeah,
school,
yeah.
Were you out for school for
Dude,
election day?
Okay, it is insane how many days these kids get off.
Are we coddling the kids?
I think we might be coddling the kids because I don't remember getting off election day, and then they're off next week for Veterans Day. Like I don't
They're
remember
off for Veterans Day?
I don't remember all these days off when I was in school. Now, granted, I was in Memphis City schools. It's Shelby County schools now, but I don't remember all these off days. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
We definitely didn't get election day off.
Luckily, I
because we
worked.
would do like fake. This is how different the world has gone. Because I don't think schools could. Maybe they still do. I'll choose to have hope. But we would do like fake debates on election day. We would do elections. Like as kids, we would say. And when you're a little kid, you're mostly just going based off what your parents were doing. But it was a wild time back in the public schools before kids were off for election day. Noah doesn't want to be on air. But tell Noah I killed a spider for him this morning.
Out of his chair.
I saved Noah's life from a tiny
Say what's
spider.
up, everybody.
I feel like
Say
this
happy
is
election day.
Okay, happy election.
Yay! This is the kind of election day therapy that everybody needs. You need a cute kid. You need some dogs. What did he say?
What'd you say?
He was. Oh, he asked if we were going to have Thanksgiving off.
Yeah, he. Oh yeah, they're having a Thanksgiving feast at school. So okay.
Today?
Not today.
Oh, for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're very into the holidays right now. Halloween just happened. Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas.
It comes at you fast.
Yeah, holidays are a big deal right now.
Oh, he's ready for Christmas.
Yeah,
He's ready to
yeah.
sing Christmas songs.
Yes.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break because we're ready for Mike Wallace. He was at the game in Brooklyn last night. We will talk to Mike about the Ja highlights, Zach Edey's improvement, this team and where they stand now 4-4 on the season. They finally have some Western Conference opponents back on the schedule coming up, starting with the Lakers on Wednesday. We'll get into all that with Mike, plus 2 wins for the Memphis Tigers. The men's and the women's basketball team starting their seasons with wins. Will Coleman is going to join us in the third segment, and we'll get his takes from FedEx Forum last night. That's all still ahead.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean,
yeah,
come on, bro.
he stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday. That means it's time to check in with Grind City Media's senior editor, Mike Wallace, who was at the game in Brooklyn last night. Mike, how are you?
I'm still working on that. I'll let you know, man.
Are you a little tired?
Yeah, we got in. I got home at 3 a.m. This morning. It was one of those, because all the games staggered last night. All 15 games, 30 teams were in action. It's one of only 4 times this season where all NBA teams will be playing on the same night. And so we had the 8 o'clock start local and nice long ride back to the airport. And first world problems, but I'm good. I'm always good to be here with you guys for sure.
Hey, at least you didn't have to take the subway like the Pistons did when they were in Brooklyn on Marathon Sunday. So at least you had open roads in this situation. We're going to get into everything that happened last night. Grizzlies lose to the Nets, but certainly some positives to take away and some question marks that still need to be filled in for this team. But I did want to ask you, because it is Election Day, and it got me thinking this morning, if the Grizzlies were to put forth a presidential ticket, so a president and a vice president, I think it's pretty obvious who the president would be. I don't know, maybe we're not on the same page, so I won't lead you into my answer, but I get a little more questionable on who the VP would be. So who would your ticket of the Grizz be?
Wow, as a vice president and a president, right?
Yes.
I don't think you could go wrong with Jaren Jackson Jr. as your president and Yuki Kawamura as your vice president.
Oh, wow.
I would go with a Jackson Kawamura ticket right there.
International appeal.
So we're making this president of the world. I should have clarified. No traditional rules. Age doesn't matter, and place of birth doesn't matter.
Yeah, place of birth doesn't matter. So I think you can't. I think that covers all of your territory right there, right?
Jaren Yuki, 2025.
Jaren is so polished. Jaren is so polished in everything that he's doing. He has that political bent when it comes to, his vice presidency in the Players Association. And then Yuki is just a man of the people. He's just a person of the people. No matter what arena he's in, no matter where he goes, he's always going to galvanize a crowd around him. So it's going to be beautiful to see that ticket.
That's a good one, because so Jaren was the obvious pick. There's just something presidential about Jaren, like you said, because of his place in the Players Association and his mom, and like he's got the pedigree, right? Like the presidential pedigree going on. But then you need like kind of the fun VP candidate that throws it off. I was gonna go with Gigi for that reason, because even watching Gigi Jackson on the sidelines of that game last night, he was in the mix for everything. Like he's talking
Yeah.
to Ja on the bench, he's talking to the team, he's talking to Jalen. You just see him constantly in action, and he just has like the biggest, most infectious smile on his face. I can't wait for Gigi to be back.
That's a great one. That's a great
was
one.
my pick.
That's a great one. Yeah, yeah. You might. And so Jaren and Gigi. That's a good combination right there too. Yeah, that's a nice one. I'm
John,
almost mad that I overlooked Gigi in that because he. Would
it's okay.
be
You're tired.
phenomenal
You
at
got in
MVP.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You went with Yuki, which is also like a surefire way to win the popular vote. So that would be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Roser would like to remind me, we have a president and a vice president. It's Zach Kleiman and Jason Wexler. So I'm not trying to replace them. This is president of the world, not president of the Grizzlies. Come on. We're thinking
See,
big-brained.
He's just kissing up. Now look at the kiss up right there.
Yeah,
Look at
come
the
on,
kiss up right
Roser.
there. Roser, that's weak, Roser.
Yeah.
All right,
We love
Mike.
you, Roser, but that's
We
weak.
do love you. We love Roser always. Being at that game last night, I'm curious. You were also at the loss to the Nets last week, which felt like the world was crumbling around this team after that was game 5 of the season, and things felt pretty astronomically bad. What was the vibe, the mood of this group last night following a close loss, certainly a game that you wish that you would have won, but felt a little bit different this time around?
Yeah, and I was trying to articulate that in the questions that I asked Taylor and the players in the locker room because the loss, now granted, I don't believe the Grizzlies should be losing 2 games to the Nets. Let me just be clear on that.
Yeah.
Under any circumstance, I think the Grizzlies have a talent advantage, and I just think they execute. The Nets, if they play the Grizzlies 82 games in a row, they might be, a 70-win team the way that this thing is going right now. But everyone else, I saw that same Nets team just look completely awful against the Pistons the night before. Now that's I'm not disparaging the Pistons in this situation, but I think what made the Nets such a difficult team for the Grizzlies is because they play so loose and play so free, and the Grizzlies are trying to play structured, even though they're increasing the tempo, even though they want to get to their spots, they want to be deliberate in how they attack. They want to rush into it. They want to get to it as fast as possible. They have spots to be in. They have timings. They have all of these things that goes with structure. The Nets are just out there balling, and they throw a monkey wrench into your program because they make once they get you to misstep or take the wrong cut or do the wrong thing, it's almost like your whole offense becomes discombobulated and you're playing right into their hands. They're all interchangeable. All of their guys can dribble. All of their guys can pass. All of their guys can shoot. Cam Thomas is not that great of a passer because he doesn't pass, but everybody else can pass the ball pretty well. And they knock down three-pointers in opportunistic times. And Dennis Schroeder, man, I don't know what it is about him. I don't know why he can't stick with any team for more than 2 or 3 seasons now. But everywhere he goes, he has these kind of impacts. So I think that makes it tough. I'm going to wrap all that up by saying this. What they said last night, now I'm talking about the Grizzlies now, is that they played much better against the Nets this time last night than they did last week. Last week, they were embarrassed by how that game got away from them. This one, they just felt like the Nets had one more punch than they had left. And both of those teams are going back and forth. Neither one can stop the other one for stretches of the second half, and it just worked out as a tough loss on the road in the NBA.
It was crazy with the Grizzlies down 5, and I was joking with Bennett in the first segment earlier in the game when Zach Edey pulled up for that trailing 3, and my instinct was no, like that, no, you don't need to do that. And then he made it, and it was fine. And in the moment, I had the same exact response when Jaren chucked up the 3 that he ultimately made. He banked it in, and it made it a 2-point game, which allowed the Grizzlies to have what could have been a chance for a final shot. And technically, it's not Aldama did get off that final shot. But as it pertains to Jaren last night, 15 points on 5 of 11 shooting, 5 rebounds and assists, 2 blocks and a steal. But I still would have loved to see Jaren go at the basket more. And we've seen it in spurts, but it's not that first instinct. And I'm curious what you've seen from Jaren Jackson Jr. and how this matchup against the Nets particularly shows what it could be and why you think it's not that consistently for Jaren.
Well, to me, Jessica, it was a tale of 2 games. You look at what he did against Philadelphia, the 76ers 2 nights earlier. It was a complete Jaren Jackson Jr. floor game, and it was a show that he put on. He had his pockets of the game where he was deliberate in getting into the lane, going to the basket. I don't think he played many of those minutes with Zach Edey, and I think Taylor did a good job of sort of staggering those 2 in addition to staggering Ja and Jaren throughout a game. I just think he ran out of space against the Nets. It seemed like every time he touched it, he was in a crowd. There was another. The problem is when you're playing 3 7-footers, not all of them are naturally just going to, spread out to the 3-point line. Instinctively, they feel like they have a matchup advantage because of their length as they get closer to the paint. Now, when you look at the points in the paint disparity in that game last night, the Grizzlies were pretty much dominant, most of that game from there. But Jaren just had a hard time finding consistent places to go to get the ball. And it's harder for me. To me, it seems like it should be easier for Jaren to get into the post and let your point guard or your guard find you. Jaren prefers to face up and go off the dribble as if he's a guard or a wing. Now, he has the talent to do that, but when you're going up against a crowd, it's hard to find space. And I think last night he just couldn't find enough space to operate, and his flow and his rhythm was just off.
It was the best rhythm game for Zach Edey, the best game that we've seen for Zach Edey, and much has been made about the small improvements that he's made. And you've been on the road with this team. You've been at every game and seen it for yourself. Just what stood out to you the most in terms of why Zach Edey was able to take that leap forward last night and have his second straight double-double, 25 and 12?
Well, number one, because he had point guards in Scottie Pippen and Ja Morant, who can get into the lane and attack the defense, get to the rim, and then you're going to force a double team, and then you just pass it off to the big man who's right there. And as long as you're serving Zach Edey the ball like a platter at the rim, he's just going to take it and stuff it, man. And that's all he had to do. He had 7 dunks last night. He made 9 of his first 10 shots. And it was just the game came so easy, but that was on the offensive end. Where he had an impact to me was on the defensive end, because when he was in the game, the Nets did not even want to look at the rim inside the paint. They dribbled through the lane and came back out. Zach Edey had a number of blocked shots. He altered a few more shots. I just think when he's able to be big and you play to his size, that creates a nice menu of options for the Grizzlies. Now, having said that, I remember talking to Eric Hasseltine during the broadcast last night during the break, and I was like, man, I sincerely hope the Grizzlies win this game, not only because I want the Grizzlies to win, but because I do not want them to lose in the game where they decided to prioritize Zach. Because I think Zach needed the reward of having that kind of game in a win to even further boost his confidence. But I think he's going to be fine. Take a step back and think about it. The Grizzlies are starting 2 rookies right now, Zach Edey and Jalen Wells. And not a lot of teams are doing that right now. So there's going to be some up and down and some turbulence at the start of this season. And we're seeing it. We're seeing great one night and we're seeing inconsistencies the next. They just have to iron that out and find a nice, smooth landing spot to be at more consistently.
After last night, Zach Edey, first in rookies in points per game, second in rebounds per game, playing 19.6 minutes a game. Jalen Wells, 4th in scoring and 3rd in minutes played amongst all the rookies. And like you said, both starting for the Grizzlies. Dribble Billy in the chat asked if the Grizzlies were leading the league for points in the paint. They are, averaging 61 points in the paint per game. They're not the worst 3-point shooting defense in the NBA this season, Mike, but they're down in the bottom 10 of the league. How do they fix it? And why do we have this conversation every year at the beginning of a Grizzly season?
Every year at the beginning of the season, and it's because, so much of the emphasis has been on offense and getting this pace right, getting this, 3 seconds to the 3-point line, strategy right, pace principles and possessions are the 3 Ps. I could say them in my sleep. But one thing Taylor Jenkins did admit is that, look, there's a defensive component to that as well. We want to have those 3 Ps on the defensive end as well, too. We want to disrupt pace. We want to eliminate and stop possessions, and we want to knock other teams off of their principles. Well, the Grizzlies are committing to one side of it pretty much every game. The other side of it, it's not there all the time. So when guys can beat you off the dribble and get into the lane, it forces rotations, and then you kick out and you make, guys like Dorian Finney-Smith look like Steph Curry from the 3-point line. And we've seen that one too many times right now. We've seen it twice against the Nets. Chicago did it with Zach LaVine going straight into the Grizzlies defense and just being so athletic. They have to commit to on-ball defense, and it's more than Scottie Pippen. It's more than, every other time. You got to be consistent with that, and you got to have guys in the game who are physical enough to hold their own in those matchups.
Which 360 did you like better from Ja, the first or the second?
Man, the first one The first one was you give that one a 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you were thinking, okay, this is a once in a life, not once in a game type situation.
Right.
And then he came back and did it again, and it was like the first one brought the Brooklyn Barclays Center to their feet, right? That one brought, just the elevation, spinning the opposite way and finishing with the left was a thing of beauty. Everyone in the arena was shocked when he did that. Like, we just saw the whole arena gasp. And when he did it the second time, it was like, oh my God, man, this guy is just playing at a different level. He's like I say it time and time again, Jessica. Ja Morant, everybody else is playing human basketball. Ja Morant is playing a video game. And it's clear. These are NBA players that he's doing this against. These are guys that are 449 best players on the planet for the most part. And then there's just one guy that's just out of this world. And that's Ja Morant and his ability on the basketball court.
Yeah, it becomes such a thing to oversay, but you can see him do something new every single time you sit down to watch a Grizzlies game, and then you can see him do it twice in one game, which is otherworldly. And shout out to Blevins for the slow-mo clips. Those hit just as hard as all the other shots that we saw of the Ja 360s last night. Last thing before I let you go, sweet baby Grizzlies fans saw a tweet that referenced Bovada odds for who will land Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes that seems to be inevitably upcoming. It has the Heat leading with plus 150 odds, the Nets plus 210, Rockets plus 400, Spurs and Grizzlies with plus 600. Of that group, Mike, who do you think is the best fit for Giannis Antetokounmpo? And is there any real chance that it could end here in Memphis? Without speaking definitively on it from all of our seats, I should say.
No. I mean, that's fine. I mean, this is part of the industry and where we are now. Yes, there's a chance that it can happen. I don't see why it can't. I do think if a guy like that, a generational talent, comes available, you have to make the phone calls to see at least what it will take to get him on your team. Now, the question becomes, if you're the Grizzlies, and we're speaking hypothetically and theoretically here, who are you willing to part with? Because you know it's going to take a bunch of draft picks and something to send back to Milwaukee to make them still an attractive place for at least their home fans to come see. And, again, you're not giving up Ja in that situation. And I think everything else is like, it's like, it's on the table if you got, okay, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But you got to be sure that Giannis is coming in with the mindset to win a championship and not just to be Giannis, right? He's already won a championship. What are his motivations? I don't know if I mess with the chemistry and the potential chemistry that the Grizzlies have right now. There's still so much that this team has to do. Now, having said that, it's getting late in the game. We've seen these guys together for 4 or 5 years now, and they need to take that next step this year. I just don't think that it's the time is right to do it. But, hey, stranger things have happened, man. Superstars have been moved before, and they will continue to be moved in this league.
Tommy in the chat said, give up our next 5 first-rounders for Giannis. We stink at first-round draft picks, which is not fair. But I did see a graphic that was fascinating that was rolling around this week of every team separated by how many lottery picks are on the team, like the most versus the least. Yeah. And it is, it just makes it stand out more when you see it listed like that the Grizzlies only have 4 lottery picks on their team. And one of them is rookie Zach Edey right now. Yeah. And then it's Ja, Jarrett, and Luke Kennard, who you got in a trade. But anyway, we'll see. Just don't let the Spurs get Giannis. Like, that's where I'm sitting at right now. Just don't make us have to see a future of Wemby and Giannis lining up together. Anybody else, put them in the East. Keep them in the East.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Every year, I long for the NBA where, these superstars are disgruntled, and, we saw it with Kevin Durant, and we saw it with LeBron James in free agency. We saw it with Dwight Howard. We saw it with, a lot of guys in their prime that got moved in situations. Carmelo Anthony. It's always a good NBA when that happens. The only thing that's bad about it is that we don't have Woj around and to go along with Shams to help break all of this information, man. So, that's the only thing. We'll have to wait till it actually unfolds before we can see what happens here.
Somebody, when all the Joel Embiid, Marcus Hayes incident news was popping off, someone was like,
that was the Grizzlies game. That was at the Grizzlies game.
It was the Grizzlies game.
And a real quick story about that, right? So we're in it's the post-game locker room, and, we're wrapping up talking to all of the players in the Grizzlies locker room. And then, the Grizzlies had the cheesesteaks. When you go to Philly, you get the cheesesteaks as your post-game meal, man. And that's the one time when you can have a cheap meal after a game from that situation. So I'm going back to the bus, and the Philadelphia 76ers beat writer, man, Keith Pompey, a guy I've known for years in this industry, is like, man, it's a S show right now in the locker room. I just got out of the locker room, and, man, Joel Embiid punched somebody. I said, what?
That's how it was reported first, too. That's what I saw first.
He was tweeting. Keith Pompey was tweeting as I walked by him. And I looked over at him, and he was like, what's up, Mike? Man, guess what just happened? And he was like, Joel Embiid in there. Man, he was like, it's an S show around here right now. And I got to the bus, and then I got back off the bus and went back into the Grizzlies locker room, man. And, everybody was talking about it at that point. I get it. It was a bad way for the columnists to convey a point that they were trying to make in that story. I could see Joel Embiid being frustrated with the guy and confronting him. You just hope it doesn't get physical like that. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of blame to go around here. You just have to be more tactful and respectful when you're covering these guys, and when you reference somebody's late brother, a deceased brother, and their son, just to say, hey, your legacy is in question. That's not the way to go.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, we even saw with the Jason Kelce situation, and both of those coming over the weekend, where you saw people who were pressed with somebody talking about a family member in a way that made them respond in the way that they did. And Jason Kelce opened Monday Night Football last night with an apology, and I saw so many people be like, he doesn't have to apologize. But I did think it was really poignant that Jason Kelce pointed out, like, I responded to hate with hate, and I would prefer not to do that. I think it just gets to the point where, like, you can't expect people to just endlessly take ridiculous-ish being said without there being some kind of a consequence on the other side for a response, right, for the words that are being said on the other side. But I'm glad
you said that. You said it last week. You said it last week too, when we were talking about Ja on Twitter, and when he was, his back and forth.
You get pushed to a breaking point. Like, we're all human. We all have emotions. We're not just robots sitting here.
And they say athletes. I've been around athletes for 25, 30 years now, professional athletes, and they always say the two things you don't mess with is you don't talk about people's money and contracts, and you don't talk about people's families, their loved ones, their significant others. Those are off limits when it comes. You can write anything or say anything you want to say about certain guys, but when you cross that line and you put that out in public, then you better brace for some kind of reaction and response that might not always be favorable.
Yeah. Mike, thanks for joining us. Will Coleman just walked in with a tray of something, some sort of treat that he has brought us here for Election Day.
So kick me to the curb.
We got to kick you to the curb, but you're coming to the office. We're doing a Grizz Weekly update later, so I'll see you ASAP. But thanks for joining us. I would say get rest, but I'll see you in like 2 hours.
That's absolutely. All right now. Take care.
All right. That was Mike Wallace. You can get all of his latest up at grindcitymedia.com. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Will Coleman is in the building. His Memphis Tigers. A tale of two halves for the Memphis Tigers last night at FedEx Forum, but they get the win over Missouri. We'll get his takes from last night's game when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing, where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's
And it's a
He's
revenge
always-
tour.
yeah.
It's a revenge tour. Like hey, the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean,
yeah,
come on, bro.
he stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
It's Tuesday. That means it is time to catch up with Will Coleman. Perfect timing because the college basketball season tipped off yesterday, and we got not one, but two Memphis Tigers wins, with both the women winning earlier in the day against the Devilettes, and then the men winning at night against the Missouri Tigers. Will, welcome. Listen,
Thank you for having me.
I know we have to talk about the Tigers, but you came in bearing gifts, and it is a Tuesday. Sometimes you bring us treats for election day, especially on an election day that feels like a gender reveal party for the country. Like, is it a boy, is it a girl? And you said that this treat is like a gender reveal because we don't know what it is. So enlighten us on what we'll be snacking on.
Listen, where I'm at, we're right here,
You're
right
all
here.
over the place. You're right
Listen,
there.
hey, look, let me tell you something. This right here, this might be the greatest I've ever brought in here.
Ever?
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I took some time
Let's
on
go.
this.
CJ's
Sorry,
be so
CJ.
Yeah,
mad.
CJ gonna be
Too bad,
mad
so
at this
sad.
one. He
We'll
gonna be
save him
mad
in
at this
peace.
one.
We'll save him in peace.
So what I have here
Okay.
is a sweet potato pound cake
Sweet potato pound cake.
with a cinnamon butter glaze.
God help me.
God bless America.
So we're going to take this puppy out.
Okay.
We're going to open it up,
Oh, wow.
and we're going to let you dig in.
Let's
Oh,
go.
wow. Well, I'm going
Let's
to
go.
First, yes, please take the lid off so the people can see what it looks like.
Oh, man.
If you can.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, it's so loud. The loudest sound in the world. Taking off the cake.
There it is. There she is.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it up to let the sweet people see. Oh my God, and it's warm. And it's still warm. Do we have this camera, Kyra?
Yeah, how we?
Oh,
we'll-
she's just going up on the Zoom on Will.
What is
There-
happening?
Look at this.
There it is, right there. That is.
Yeah, I'm
that
sorry
is-
for all of you trying to make it through Election Day without a sweet potato pound cake with cinnamon.
Butter
glaze?
glaze.
That's too bad for you. I'm gonna cut pieces.
Yeah, you cut that
You
up.
are gonna start by telling me. I would like to know specifically the roller coaster of a journey it was watching the Memphis Tigers from a first half that included the home fans booing on opening night to ultimately getting a win and a very nice second half response from the Tigers as they beat Missouri here in Memphis last night.
I'll go ahead and get started and say I think if people don't understand the magnitude of the energy that Tiger Nation brings in that form, I think you need to rethink some things. I mean, only because
We go down, 15, 20 points in the first half. Abysmal first half. I mean, it was terrible. And I do think, one of the cons to this, I do think one of the things that the country is going to take heed to is that Penny struggles in the zone. They played us in a 3-2, and we just simply had trouble getting in the zone or scoring in the zone. We were having trouble penetrating. We were having trouble finishing. We just could not figure out what to do in that zone. But night and day, first half to second half, we come out, we start attacking, we start trying to get to the rim. Musa Cisse, imposes his will on the inside.
Would you like a piece?
Oh, no, I'm good. Okay. He imposes his will on the inside, picks up the slack. Nick Jourdain, he gets into foul trouble. And I think it shows a testament to how much we can rally together and win ball games, especially after this Smith news. I mean, come on. 6 hours before the game, you got somebody who say they're ready to bounce over some NIL discrepancies and everything else. Obviously, that's another conversation for another day. But I think, with the monster half that we had, I think it shows a testament to what we can do if we come together and stick together. Now, this may not happen with every team because we may play a team and they may come out and bury us. We go down 15, 20 points and they may keep us there. So doing stuff like that on the road like we did last night may not always be possible. So we got to learn how to rally and stick close to games when we have them.
Okay, please hold for one moment.
My man is over here making noises. 10 out of 10.
Oh my Lord. That really might be the best thing that you've ever
Yeah! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yeah!
That's
Yeah!
My husband already texted me.
Yeah!
I want to read it.
Yeah!
He goes, "Bring me treats. Please bring me a piece. LOL. No pressure if you can't. Ha 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 ha. Smiley face. I'll bring you a piece. Don't worry about it. This is incredible.
We got you, baby.
My man's dancing in here.
Noah's like, this is the greatest day off from school. Were
yeah.
you off election day in
No,
school?
we're not off election day, which is crazy.
Either. When did this happen?
Yeah, it is wild. Some people...
He said it's blowing his head open.
Blowing his head open.
Apparently, some people starting to get Veterans Day off, too, which is kind of crazy.
Noah's
but-
getting
they're out of
Veterans
school
Day
for
off,
that too, Will. Yeah.
Golly,
They get off
man.
once
That's
a
a
week.
wild time.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy.
This is remarkable. You mentioned the home crowd. It did interest me. Like Dennis Gates, the coach of Missouri, he brought it up multiple times in his post-game press conference, talking about how it kind of threw them off their game. And I think the thing that really stood out to me, both in watching it and seeing specifically the defensive turn-up in the second half, it looked like a Penny Hardaway calling card team, right?
Yeah.
Like a team that's turning defense into offense. And when you have limited scoring, that is a great way to start surging points where you can get them.
Yeah.
But reading the responses from the team afterwards and some of the post-game remarks, I thought were really thoughtful, and particularly Tyrese Hunter, who I guess gave a speech at halftime and specifically called out multiple players, not in a negative way, just in a very real way. And to do that on night one of the regular season, and any reference to the games that they had in their exhibition opportunities against both North Carolina and Alabama. But just how encouraging is it from like a leadership standpoint to already be hearing things like that? Like this team has some deficiencies. I don't want to just completely skate over that. But it does feel like there's a different tone with this group than maybe we've seen the last couple of years.
Like I said, I think Penny's gotten to a point to where he's fed up in terms of, especially with like I said, the Smith news. It's very easy for something like that to come up and you try and salvage it, or you try and fix it, or you try and we can do this, or, pacify it, whatever the case may be. But instead, it's somewhere, it's just kind of like, come on, dog, you got the role. It's getting cancerous.
Right.
It's trauma. It's all kinds of disruption. And then when you have guys like that with no egos that want to come together and win a game, I mean, yeah, we may not have like a legit superstar yet. There may be a guy in there that may turn it on and peak at the right time. But right now, you got a bunch of guys who just, after like what you said, going to the locker room, are able to hold each other accountable and fire each other up without any malicious intent, and get out there and come together, because they could have easily went to the locker room and laid down and just went away. But instead, they went in there, They did what they had to do. They gave the speeches, and they came out on fire and really tried to cut that lead and ultimately won the game.
Who impressed you the most?
Cisse.
Cisse.
And the reason being is
Yeah.
because, I
Me
mean,
too.
you see that free throw shooting, who he's been known to just lay a brick house when it comes to shooting free throws. I think he went, last time I looked, I think he went 6 for 10, 6 for 10, 7 for 10, something crazy.
Yeah.
He was holding on to the ball, finishing around the rim. Couple plays, I thought he could have finished through, but ultimately I think he showed up and he played and he did a damn good job on the night.
Yeah, it stood out to me. It is an odd thing watching the first game of the season. And, like, Chris watched the exhibition games with me, but it's kind of just background noise, and so
Right.
maybe you're focused a little more. And when he heard Moussa Cisse, he was like, wait, Moussa Cisse is back in Memphis? And I was like, yeah. But it is a catch-up period of figuring out who some of these players are.
Right.
How different does that feel? And how do you think that impacts like where a season starts for a team, especially fan support-wise and just understanding? Because it is difficult to feel like you're playing a name game watching the first game of the season.
Yeah. I think now, obviously Grind City Media is great. Don't take this the wrong way. Anybody, I don't want to say we don't have a team full of nobodies, because that's not it by any means. I think for the people on the outside looking in, your casual Tiger fans who really don't pay too much attention other than wins and losses, because you got your keyboard warriors and keyboard killers who can easily get on Facebook, this team sucks. I mean, I saw plenty of it the first half.
Right.
NIT team, let's get this guy out of here, Penny's a joke, all this stuff. Then we come out, and people took screenshots and saved them all. But when you have a team full of guys who have the ability to have a blank canvas and can make an identity for this team, for this city, and for themselves, I think there's a lot of upside to that, because it's super silly. I'm a huge Marvel guy, but in one of Spider-Man's movies, he said, if you expect disappointment, you won't ever be disappointed. And I think people don't know what to get. They don't know what they're going to get with this team. So I think the team has, like I said, the ability to create whatever narrative they want with the wins and the losses and the road wins. It's going to be bumps and bruises. But how we bounce back from them and how they respond to a lot of the stuff that they're going to see on the road and during the season, I think that's a huge positive.
Yeah, and I loved it. Like, I covered Moussa Cisse when he was at Lausanne.
Yeah.
And remember going to those games back in the day and being like, oh, that was one of the hardest things that I had to learn moving to Memphis, because my first job was in the Tri-Cities, Washington, and no disrespect to those high school athletes there, but there wasn't the same number who were being heavily recruited by like high-level universities.
Right.
And so moving to Memphis, I would just like fall head over heels with these kids who I was like, I'm going to watch them from the time that they're in high school until they're in the league.
Yeah.
And this excitement, there was this receiver, I'll never forget, a wide receiver at Ridgeway, Kendarius Taylor.
Yeah.
And he was going to go to Oklahoma, and he was going to be like the best receiver to come out of Memphis. And he ended up transferring to Memphis for a hot second and flamed out and just was never anything. And it was so hard to watch. And I would see someone like a Moussa Cisse or a DJ Jeffries when I covered him at Olive Branch, and hoping to find for Moussa like this last chance in college to go out and like reclaim your name for yourself. And
Moussa,
I think
he got a
that's very
shot,
cool
man.
thing.
He
I
got
think
a shot.
does.
He got a shot. He just, like, again, we've all talked about, Moussa needs to work on his hands a little bit. But if he continues to progress like he did last night,
I was really encouraged.
There's a spot for him. He runs like a deer. His conditioning could be a little bit better. But, the ceiling's, sky's the limit for a guy like Moussa Cisse in the league, especially the way the game's going. He doesn't necessarily have to shoot jumpers, but if he can just finish around the rim, and if you get a guy, God forbid he get a guy on his team like Ja Morant or something like a point guard that can want that is good at passing him the ball, can get past their defender and make a big man help. That's dump offs and lobs for a guy like Cisse all day.
Did you have something you wanted to say, Bennett?
Oh,
I saw you lean into the mic.
It didn't show up in the box score, but I thought Baraka Okogie was awesome, by
Oh,
the
yeah.
way. Like, he's just a dog out there. You can totally understand, because, like, when he was recruited, it was like, wow, this guy hasn't really put up big numbers in college, but his defense is, he's going to be a problem for other teams. He gets all up in other dudes.
When they called him on that foul, that should have been a charge.
Yeah, should have been charged.
And they said Okogie. And I thought they said coach. Like, I thought they were calling something on Coach. I was like, what the hell just happened? And then Chris was like, no, it's a Koji, Jess.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, duh, at this point.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was an encouraging start for Memphis. And listen, like, you want to beat an SEC opponent on your schedule. It might not be the best team in the SEC. They have goals that far exceed their 0-18 record in the SEC last season. And so it is a positive start to a year where you have very little room to falter, honestly, like as it pertains to the Tigers football team, and there's far less games in that situation. But once you get to AAC play, like, you're expected to win every game in front of you, and you want as many of these non-conference wins as possible. In the meantime, it is interesting with college basketball coming back yesterday. There were so many games, very little like star power, attention. I personally found myself way more focused on the women's side, and partially because I'm a USC fan, but that USC Ole Miss game was awesome. It was on TV. It was on ESPN in the middle of the afternoon. They played it in Paris, which was cool, and then it was followed by the UCLA-Louisville game afterwards. UConn doesn't play till Thursday, but I'm super psyched to see Paige Beckers. The one player that's doing it for everyone is Cooper Flagg. And I think it's because of the attention of, like, where's he going to end up? Who's going to tank for Flagg? Who's going to find a way to lose enough games that Cooper Flagg is on their team? Did you see his dunk last night?
Man, listen. that dude.
Look at this man.
I don't understand it, man. He just, like, this man is in college, and he's a starting 3-4 man on somebody's roster right now in the NBA. The only thing I'd say is, you don't think of too many organizations in the league right now where it's kind of like, ew, but, like, obviously you want to keep him out of Detroit. I just
He feels destined for Utah.
Yeah, I just,
He just feels destined. I was in the Salt Lake City airport yesterday, and I just looked around, and I was like, this is going to be Cooper
Utah
Flagg City,
would
isn't it?
eat him up. Like, they would take him. They would love a guy like
really
Flagg
would.
right now. They would. He just. I don't see what's wrong with it. He can literally do what he wants. I mean, just when it comes to the draft, when it comes to I think this kid is good enough to, whoever gets the first pick, and it's happened before, I don't want to go there. I'm just going to chill. Like, let's work something out. I don't want to be on that team. Let's figure it out. Or whatever the case may be. But a guy like Flagg dominating in college basketball, like you said, it's just, on the men's side, you got some guys who making some noise. But to your point, I'm super excited to watch these women play as well.
Yeah, and the men will keep growing into it. Like, it doesn't help that the one top 10 matchup that we had yesterday, the Gonzaga-Baylor game, was absolute destruction from Gonzaga. Like, they crushed Baylor. 101-63. Biggest win for Gonzaga, point total-wise, over a top 10 team in program history.
Did you see Mark Few's kid get dunked on?
I sent it.
Oh, my God.
Kyra, I don't know if Kyra got it. I sent it at the last minute before the show started. Oh, she got it. Yes, she did. Mark Few put his son in the game for the last 2 minutes, and this is what happens to Mark Few's son.
That's crazy.
You got to make a business decision.
That's crazy.
You got to make a business
decision.
decision.
That was
I know.
wild. That
Get
was
him
really
out.
wild.
He's concussed.
Get him out of there.
He did
Call a timeout.
He did a 360 and then stumbled on the way up. He laughing. That's not funny. You got to turn your jersey in.
You can't turn to your dad?
Yeah, Dad. I'm sorry.
I think it was Bomani who said nepotism gone wrong.
Yeah, you got to.
It's like the epitome of the kid who gets the chance. Like, all right, son, I'm going to let you leapfrog. This is your opportunity. And you come in and you're just completely underwater, not prepared to be in that moment.
I guess in his mind, he thought it was going to be a hustle play. Or he thought he was going to make something happen, but
He made the highlights.
Yeah,
He made the highlights.
You
the
got
low
to
lights,
just go
I
and get
should
out
say.
the way. You got to get out the way.
I realized we just kind of glazed over it. This glaze on this cake is so good. But before we let you go, the Tyreek Smith situation that did end up coming to an end before the game last night, or I guess a technical end in that he's no longer with the University of Memphis. The rumors started to trickle like last week. Then he showed up. Then he was in a boot, missed that last exhibition game, and now ultimately isn't here anymore because of reports that there were disagreements as it pertained to his NIL payouts. There was one report that he went into Penny Hardaway's office and asked for earlier payments, and Penny said no. We don't know exactly the specificities of what happened, but I did think you made a good point as it pertained to like how Penny might have treated situations like this in the past
Right.
versus right now, and just what's your overall thought on watching that play out? Sure, it's a disappointment. It hits your depth going into the season, and it's a distraction on night one, which the Tigers were able to overcome, but that's not always a guarantee.
It very much seems like you said, with the guys that we have now, it very much seems like those guys probably came together and it's just like, I mean, college athletics, you got these kids writing their own narratives now, which stinks. And it's almost like programs don't have don't have really control over guys that if you don't want to buy in, it's real easy for a kid to come get his money, leave, or just if he don't get his money, just leave because they can transfer. But it just very much seemed like the guys rallied together. And they may be friends with the guy, I don't know. But, it seems like they rallied together, came together and was like, look, man, we got to forget dude. We got to roll. Like, we got a game to play.
What we saw with that UNLV football team after their quarterback left.
Yeah, man.
They rallied around the new quarterback.
Right. And stuff like that, like I said, again, conversations for another day. But when you got guys making significantly more money in NIL than everybody else, it can create some divisiveness. But it just seemed like those guys came together and just was like, man, we got to take care of business. You got the roll, bro. Penny said it, you got the roll, bro. And, just ultimately did what they had to do.
Did you see DJ Steffen's tweet?
Mm-mm.
He said, because Tyreek Smith will be seeking out his 5th school to play at, he said 5 schools is diabolical.
Man, that's crazy, bro. Five schools is wild, bro. It's almost like maybe you the problem. It's kind of like how Mary J. Blige always singing about crazy men, and she ain't no man. It's like, Mary, maybe you the problem.
We didn't have to take a side swipe at Mary J. this morning.
I love her. My mom, I grew up on Mary J. But every song she sing a sad song about some dudes, so I'm just like, man, maybe, hey.
Maybe just sad dude songs sell records.
Maybe
Ask
you got to
Taylor
breathe
Swift.
out.
It makes you a billionaire one day if you do it
do.
enough.
Adele?
Adele as well.
But Adele, listen, I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard topic to speak on because obviously you don't. I'll just say this. I liked Adele when she first came out.
Oh.
I ain't gonna get into the details, but I think you smelling what I'm stepping in.
Interesting.
Because I went to watch her live when I was in Europe playing basketball when I first started my
did?
career. Man, solo show.
What year would that have been?
Man, I can't remember, man.
Oh my, you saw Adele early.
Early.
That's cool.
Early.
Well, she's always had the voice.
Oh, yeah,
no matter
for
what.
sure, for sure.
In and out. All right,
For sure.
well, thanks for making our election day so
Yes,
much
ma'am.
better. Congrats to the Memphis Tigers. Memphis's next game is Saturday. This coming Saturday against UNLV. So we'll have another one to talk about when we see you next week.
If somebody watching, somebody put me on a plane, man. I'm trying to catch that.
If you baked this cake,
I'll bring you a cake. I will
that
bring
you could get a lot more things in life. A little quid pro quo.
Yeah, I will bring you a sweet potato pound cake, and we can eat it on the plane
That's
together.
so good.
I will do what I need to do to get on the plane to get to San Fran to watch these guys.
All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, got that cake. I just took my brain away. We have TV Tuesday. We're going to talk a little NFL. We'll talk a little college football playoff rankings. And I am going to give Bennett a handful of events that are occurring over the next 10 days in this here country. And I'm going to ask him to rank them in order of importance. And you can rank them in order of importance as well. That's what we'll do when we come back.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour.
I can't stop the
live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back on this Election Day Tuesday. Usually when Will brings in treats, Bennett, I have like a couple bites because it's really early. And like that's a lot of sugar for me so early in the day. And so I'll have a couple bites and then maybe like I'll finish it later. I ate that whole piece of cake.
I did too, and I ate the rest of Noah's as well. It was amazing. It went well with my coffee that I'm steeping this morning because the coffee maker's not working, so I have to steep my coffee.
This is steep of the coffee.
Yeah, but no, that was amazing.
I saw that because it's Election Day, and it's actually like the 24 hours before Election Day and the 24 hours after Election Day. The world operates as if you were in an airport, which means there are no rules as it pertains to calories consumed and alcohol drank. So if you wanted to have a beer
subscribe to that, yes.
at like 10 this morning, who's going to stop you? Maybe your boss. But like, so like, do it responsibly, but whatever you need to make yourself feel better through these times. Legally need.
It is kind of wild how we act around. It is kind of like the Super Bowl in a sense, because my wife was like, "Hey, can you get some wine tonight? What do you want to eat? You want to get a pizza?" Like, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm good.
Yeah,
that sounds
We're
great.
trying to figure out what to eat too.
Yeah.
Do we get takeout? Do we stay? We're trying to treat it normally this year, a little bit. Like we're gonna do our normal schedule is that Chris gets home from work, we work out, Chris cooks, we eat, we watch something on TV, usually games this time of year, and then go to bed. So we're still gonna try to do the workout. I think we're gonna order in something fun to give it a little oomph. I think we're gonna have a bottle of our Argentinian wine that we got bamboozled into buying when we were over in Argentina, but we only want to have it for special occasions because it costs way too much money for non-special occasions. But I can't drink too much wine because I have to be up here tomorrow morning, and it's a Grizzlies game day, and they play the Lakers. It's like it's also an important game day.
Massive game tomorrow.
It's like the biggest game that we've had of the season. Certainly the biggest opponent. Well, yeah,
No,
I would
it's
still
the
say
biggest
Lakers,
game of the season so
absolutely.
far, yeah.
All the Lakers fans will come over from all parts of the Mid-South.
We play them because we play them twice in like a week, right?
Yes, we have Lakers, Wizards, Trailblazers, then Lakers again, then Nuggets twice.
Yeah,
and
then
the
this
Warriors. The Warriors are in there
in-season
too.
tournament. Yeah,
And then the
that's
in-season
in-season,
tournament.
right?
Yeah. So speaking of the in-season tournament.
Okay. What are we doing here?
It's a very busy 10-day stretch in the United States of America.
Dude, last night, like I was telling you, like last night, I could not find the amount of. I had to pull up something on my phone. I had quad screen going last night
yes.
because we had something for the kids. We had the Tigers, we have the Grizzlies, we have Monday Night Football, a lot of stakes. Like, yeah.
A lot of stakes. I was
lot going on.
I was originally going to make this events happening in November, but that just felt too big because I wanted to include the Wicked movie and Gladiator 2, as I call it on the show, Gladict, coming November 22nd to all of the screens around our great world. But I limited
it was
to just...
Glicked.
No, I'm calling it Gladict.
Gotcha.
Glicked is so boring. Gladict has a much more character to it.
Gladict.
And that's how I'm going to feel watching Gladiator 2.
Okay.
Gladiator 2 is for the girls. I don't know if you don't know this.
Oh, I like this. We're back in our, what was it? Barbenheimer?
Yeah, Barbenheimer.
I love it.
And
I'm in.
stylistically, there's not as much of a through line between Wicked and Gladiator 2 on surface. But I think Gladiator 2 could have been a musical.
You got like the set pieces and stuff that scream musical. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
You have some very
ancient Rome. Yeah.
Beautiful leading men.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I'm in.
Okay, but that's not included. That's not included.
Okay.
So this is a 10-day period.
All right.
It started this past weekend. I want you to rank in order of importance. Do you have a pen?
I have a pen, yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
The election.
Okay.
The college football playoff rankings. Daylight saving time.
Oh, God.
Sorry, am I speaking too fast?
No, go. No.
NFL trade deadline.
Okay.
The Grammy nominations.
Okay.
People's Sexiest Man Alive reveal.
Okay.
And NBA Cup group play beginning. Rank them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go daylight saving last because I hate it.
Good answer.
That's something that actually should have been on the ticket for this election because it's outrageous. Like, feeling like it's bedtime last night
Unfair.
at 5 o'clock is wrong. Okay, like my kids want to go play outside, and I'm like, dude, it's like pitch black. We can't,
No, my plane landed at 6:30, and I thought it was midnight.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm gonna put daylight savings.
Last.
Savings.
Saving. Singular.
Okay, that's going last.
And that's another reason why it's last because it should be savings.
It should
Whoever
be
made
savings.
it singular
Yeah,
is just
it's
an
always saying
a-hole.
savings. Don't go out there. Stop it.
Noah's trying to escape. Noah's like, we've had enough.
Yeah. Okay. After daylight savings, I'm gonna go. Listen, I'm gonna go people's sexiest. Come on, like I don't care about that. I mean,
Speak for
who's gonna
yourself.
be George Clooney or Brad Pitt? Like, what?
No,
what do
they
I
haven't
care?
won it in decades.
Who was the last person to win it? It was probably Pedro Pascal.
I think it was 2023. People's. Oh, Kyra with the list. Who is that?
Yeah. Okay.
Who are these people? I don't know some of them.
Who was the last one?
Yeah, Noah, who are they? Bradley Cooper's
That's
upper
Dylan,
right.
What's his name? Patrick Dempsey.
That's Patrick Dempsey?
That's the Grey's Anatomy
I know
doctor,
who Patrick.
right?
I love Patrick Dempsey, McDreamy, but that doesn't. Oh, in the bottom.
Yeah,
Patrick Dempsey's
Isn't
in the
that
bottom.
latest? Isn't that the latest, the bottom, or is the top the
I
latest?
don't know if this is in order.
Yeah, this doesn't
Idris
look
Elba's
like,
on mine.
This doesn't look like. Okay, I'm gonna say this year's winner is gonna be the dude from Twisters, the guy that everybody loves.
Of
it was in
course,
Top Gun
of
Maverick.
course.
I can't think of his name.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell. He's
Glenn
gonna
Powell.
win. There is no doubt about it that he's gonna win.
That was the order because I remember Paul Rudd won 3 years ago. So it was from the bottom backwards.
Okay.
Was the order of that, which explains why I didn't know the top left because that would have been the furthest away.
Yeah,
Noah
you
saw
did
a
see
famous
on
wrestler.
there.
Yeah, you
It was
did.
The Rock.
It was The
Yes.
Rock.
Okay, next one I'm gonna go with NFL trade deadline because NFL trade deadline is never what you think it's gonna be.
Okay.
It's just not. It's
Well,
always.
I think you're a Titans fan, and the assumption is that there's nothing that can help your team, so you're not focused on the NFL trade deadline. Speaking of, how did it feel watching DeAndre Hopkins do the Remember the Titans celebration after scoring his second touchdown with the Chiefs last night?
You know that's
Did
one
that
of-
hurt?
You know that's one of my favorite movies.
I know.
So like it hurt,
Mhm.
yes, and he's one of my favorite players.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Are you wishing him well?
Yeah, I definitely am.
Okay.
I'm wishing him well, especially because he was like such an awesome dude when he was there in Nashville. Like he did all kinds of stuff for the community, and he's apparently like still living there. So I like the guy. I'm a big fan of DeAndre Hopkins. So I wish him well. I'm sick that it didn't work out.
I was sick for him for a hot second when I thought he might be getting Carson Wentz as his new quarterback in 2024. He gets traded from the Titans to the Chiefs, and if Patrick Mahomes had actually been hurt and Carson Wentz had his Nick Foles moment, I saw the light leave DeAndre Hopkins' eyes for a hot second, but all is good, all is well.
Okay.
8-0 Chiefs.
Next, I'm going to go Grammy nominees just because for me, Grammys is a tier below the Oscars and the Emmys when it comes to awards. I don't know, though. The Grammys are fun. Like the actual
Grammys
show
are at the bottom of your EGOT rankings.
The actual show is kind of good, though.
The Grammys are, I love watching the Grammys for performances, and everyone gets really pissed off about the Grammys constantly, so there's a nice added drama of how they're going to do this again.
Bro, we're on the air, okay? We're literally doing a show
I do want to know what the craziest Christmas movie of all time is, which is what Noah just asked me.
What's the craziest
What
Christmas
is it, Noah?
movie of all time? Home Alone. We watched it last night. Yeah, we watched it last night. It'll be like the first of probably 25 viewings in my house. It's okay. It's my favorite Christmas movie, but it's going to be a lot. Yeah, that's way too early to start.
Okay, so the bottom of your rankings are Daylight Saving Time,
People's Sexiest,
NFL
Grammys, Trade Deadline,
NFL Trade Deadline Grammys.
Yeah, and
that's your bottom 4.
Yeah, that's my bottom 4. Then I'm gonna go. I'll go NBA Group Cup play. I mean, we care here, right? That's
you have that high.
Yeah. What do you mean?
That's pretty high for NBA. You're giving respect to the NBA Cup, to the Cup.
Because I'm actually fired up for the Cup. Because
support the Cup.
We even knew before we went into it last season
that
over. We weren't going to be a part of it, right? Like we were bad. Ja
was out.
Ja was out. We knew, and so I'm excited for the first time be like a part of this thing. You know what I mean?
I wanna be a part of it.
I'm actually excited about the NBA Cup group play, so I got that one a little bit higher. And then after that, I'm going to go with college football playoff rankings. That's obviously a big deal. And then number 1's the election. It's the freaking election.
That was good. You won the game.
Yeah.
Anything other than the election being number 1 would be a little silly goose. You said a bad word?
I didn't say a bad word. Oh, that's
you
don't say it. You don't get to say it.
No, I can't say that version.
Yeah.
Is that a rule in the house?
We're working on it. Some things are a little too teenager that are coming out. Yeah.
He's growing up a little too fast.
Yeah. Where'd you hear that, dude? I'm saying that a lot now. Where'd you hear that?
Where'd you hear that?
Yeah. I'm saying that a lot now.
Noah says that they always teach him so many bad words. Everybody teaches Noah bad words.
Yeah.
CJ does.
CJ taught him some bad words, yes.
Not
our CJ, a different CJ.
Other CJ.
No. Yeah. All right.
I love Noah's
all right.
disregard.
You gotta be quiet, dude.
Everything.
We're trying to do a show here.
I know. I wish Noah was on the mic.
Yeah. Here, come in here with me. Get him my microphone. Come here.
Do you want to?
Do you want to go sit right there?
Do you want
to
sit here or on your dad's lap?
Do you want to talk in the microphone?
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Come
go
here.
right there.
Come here. Yeah. Come here.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if our CJ was the one who did this to Noah.
No, he would never.
Oh, yes, Noah on the mic.
Say what's up, everybody.
Okay.
Say hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Look, your camera's over there.
You're right there.
See that red light over there? That's your camera. Wave to the camera.
You're a star.
Yeah.
Noah, who's your favorite Grizzlies player?
Yeah, who's your favorite Grizzly?
Ja.
Ja. Why?
Why do you love Ja?
Because he has rainbow color hair.
Yeah, because he has
Good
rainbow
answer.
color hair. That's a
cool
good
hair.
answer. Yeah.
And he does cool things.
And he does cool things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good basketball player sometimes.
Analysis.
Yeah, all the time.
Ja Morant,
That's
good
right.
basketball player.
Good
I love
answer.
that.
Thank you.
I love
hope
that.
The boss has heard that. Yeah.
Noah, how are you going to spend the rest of your election day?
Yeah, what are we going to do today?
Maybe.
You don't have to squeeze the microphone like that.
Maybe go to putt-putt.
I don't think so. We don't have time to do that.
Yes, we do. We have time to go to the bowling alley.
Okay, we'll
the
see.
bowling alley. Would you rather go bowling or play putt-putt?
Bowling or putt-putt?
Bowling.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
That's a mature answer. Yeah.
I love hanging out in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, though, didn't you think bowling alleys were like a wonderful place to hang out?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The
We spent
smell
so
of
much time
smoke
at Billy
just hit
Hardwick's.
differently.
Like, yes, it's a Memphis staple. Yeah.
Cool.
Love the bowling
It is
alley.
pretty
All
cool.
right, man.
It is cool.
Tell everybody see you later. Wave to the camera over there.
Thank you, Noah, for your contributions to today's show. All right. Well, that'll about do it. You
Is
got
that
the
it? Are
elect-
we done?
Yeah, it's like 9:29.
Yeah, okay.
How
fair
are you
enough.
gonna spend? How are you gonna spend the rest of your election day? How do you do election night?
So we got to do a couple more shows today, and then we're gonna go. I got a new polling location because we moved this year, so I got to go find that. We're gonna vote. I think I can bring him inside with me. I hope I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a 21 and up bar.
Right.
You're
okay.
not taking him to the
Making
tavern.
Sure. Yeah, I know these things get contentious these days, so I just want to make sure. But yeah.
Just don't put him in any political clothes.
Yeah, fair enough. So he is wearing a Harry Potter shirt. Is that
Oh,
political?
shoot.
Nah, I'm just kidding. But yes, we're gonna go vote today. So that's our
Good.
plan. Yep. He'll be
CJ's
here
going to be
tomorrow.
back tomorrow because CJ's working the polls himself. And as we do get out of here, I will say, please go vote.
Yes.
Please. It is the greatest civic duty you can do. And it is an honor and a right that is very, very special. And if you think that your vote doesn't matter, it does. You can contribute to the popular vote. I saw somebody say, think about someone who bet their house on the popular vote, and your vote could impact their bet in this election. God, gambling has gotten everywhere
It has.
at this point in time. But no NBA games tonight. The Grizzlies will be back in action tomorrow when they take on the Lakers. We'll all be here no matter what tomorrow morning. If you suffer crippling anxiety like me, I'm with you today, all day. Make sure you take some time for yourself. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And just think about sweet Noah, who might get to go bowling today. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.